Yeah. So I think we can see the red logo which says live,
Yes.
and that will mean that we are on the Facebook group directly and we are live. And while we're waiting for some more people to join, of course,
Sure.
because we usually keep these sessions very short and precise. What we're going to do is, for while we wait for people to join, I think of course I'll leave your introduction to you, but I think there are very few people who know OMBC, and I always say this about the thought leaders we have, because I think the thought leaders we have are so well entrenched, so well involved in OMBC for the past many years now. So
Yeah.
there's very little that people don't know about them, and there are very few people who don't know them. So I think it's a but I think what has happened is, in the last couple of years, because of the pandemic, we've had to do this online. The first year, of course, we were able to do it physically. The last year we had to do it online. This year we're having to do it online. Fingers crossed for next year. Let's see how it goes. But I
Fingers
think
crossed.
the idea is to sort of give an insight into people who have never, probably who have not heard you speak before, to get a little bit about who you are, and also to understand that what are you, what brings you to, what connects you to healthy baking, what your journey with OMBC has been, what your journey with OMBC Discover has also been. Okay. So you know
Absolutely.
so I will leave the I will my first question essentially for you, Devmita, would be to just give us a couple of lines of introduction about yourself, for people who either don't know you, or they may not have seen the introduction about the thought leaders so far. If you can just share some information about yourself, that would be wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simran. So it's my great pleasure. I want to begin my introduction, I think, by saying that I'm a very proud member of OMBC. And it's been such a pleasure to, be associated with this wonderful community of change makers. And I truly believe that, the whole community is changing the world, as you may call it, because, food keeps us running. And when we change the food we eat, we change the people who we are. And that is so, so important. I mean, the day you don't eat well, you're a different person from the day you eat well. And that is, this is a realization that has dawned on me for over I think my adulthood. I didn't pay so much attention to it when I was young, but as the years go by, I discover that the food that I eat makes me the person who I am. So changing the way we eat, changing the food we eat, makes the world a different place altogether. So yes, I went into a lot of philosophy about food, but I'm Dr. Devmita Datta. I'm a doctor. I'm a practicing doctor. I'm a parenting consultant. I conduct workshops on parenting for schools and corporate organizations. I also conduct prenatal classes for expecting parents. And I write, six of my books have been on parenting, have been published by Juggernaut Books. And yeah, my focus is, I would say, on parenting, health, and nutrition. So these are the three things that I think are really crucial to making people who they are. And parenting is a journey of making people, making these little ones into the best versions of what they can be. And it's really important. So we are always worried about health. So everybody is like, I wish my child would be healthy, but a lot of the health is linked to what we eat, and that what we eat is linked to parenting. So a lot of it's
Absolutely.
interconnected in that way.
Correct. You're right. Everything I think has a sort of connection with the other thing. So there's a backward link and there's a forward link. So it's not something that works in isolation. You're absolutely right, and I'm glad that you've brought it out so beautifully. In terms of how it links to your work as well, and the roles you play. And out of these, I mean, I'm sure that there is no personal favorite, but because you play so many different roles, right? So, like you said, you do parenting, and counseling sessions. You do, you're a qualified doctor. You've released your own books. You give advice on prenatal and postnatal care. So and now, of course, and healthy eating. very importantly. So is there any personal preference that you have about the different roles you play? I know it's very difficult, because especially because you would be enjoying all of them,
Yes.
but just maybe a little bit of insight into you as a person, that what do you enjoy doing the most out of all of this?
So I think my personal favorite, if you ask me, is doing workshops, because you get to touch so many people in such a short time. And a lot of times people come back and they say that, just those 40 minutes of listening were life changing. You just need to hear that one little thing that you're missing, and you can transform yourself. So I think that is my personal favorite, conducting the workshops. But I would say that it's all interlinked. Whenever you speak, say I'm doing a workshop on learning, you cannot isolate learning from the way you're running the house or parenting. In that sense, if you're scolding the child a lot, the child is not going to learn. If you're not feeding the child the right food, the child is likely to behave badly. So it's again, like I said, it's interconnected. So what you
True.
feed the child, what time the child gets up from bed, is
Correct.
related to the child's behavior. The child's behavior would be linked to your behavior, and then all this would end up in what the child actually learns.
Correct.
So
Correct.
yes, I can't really pick personal favorites, but yes, I would say that for me, the whole thing is a journey of learning. So whenever something comes to me and people say, you must speak on this, I'm so excited, because I'm like, oh, now I can read like 3 more books and 5 more articles, and discover
Absolutely.
something new for myself, and then
Absolutely.
share it with the others, share the bits that I think would be really relevant with others. So yes, the thing is that there is so much research that is happening in neuroscience, in food science, in health, in every aspect of parenting, as you may call it. But
Yeah.
we don't know about it because it's all stuck in the journals or in complicated books. So my passion is to take that out and make it simple and share it.
Absolutely. I think that's the big part, that, see, I think a lot of people, usually, especially when it comes to workshops, or when it comes to areas that like you cover, they complicate things so much, so they make it so difficult for people to understand. Even with healthy baking, that's my biggest, issue, that people will make it so complex for you to,
Yes.
figure out that is there, if this is doable, this is not doable, things like that. So I think that is where, I think, which basically, I feel, and I see that as a trend with all of the thought leaders we've had so far, that they, one is that they make the information relatable, they make the information easy to absorb, and and they give the confidence to that person that you can do this. I think that makes a big difference, like while they are themselves experts. So you're such a, you're such a, big expert when it comes to parenting, when it comes to nutrition, and still you make it so, what should I say, make it so comfortable for somebody who's, say, a lay person, like for myself, or somebody else who's, a parent, for example, or wants to look at some information from a nutrition point of view for their child. It's so simplistic that the other person thinks, okay, I can do this. I don't need to gets hassled or worried when I look at that information. So I think
Thank
that's
you. Thank you so much. Simran, that's the hugest compliment, because I really feel that when you know something well, you can really simplify it. And in fact, I think, it all begins with you, the way you approach this whole topic. No, and I'm really serious about it. So, I knew nothing about healthy baking. I remember when I first reached out to you for an
correct.
article for What Parents Ask.
Correct.
And I asked you that my thing was, that people play with so many things and they make so many
Correct.
crafts over the vacations. And a
Absolutely.
lot of times, we waste a lot of stuff. You're taking
Yeah.
paper and glue and
Correct.
everything, tinsel, and then it all goes into the dustbin. As the mom
Correct.
of a kid, I know that that's what is going to eventually happen to it all. But when you make something
Absolutely.
with your hands which is edible,
Correct.
you're really utilizing something. So I remember
Yes.
I reached out to you and I said, I want to put something like that, but I want it to be healthy. And you gave
Correct.
4 really simple recipes. And it was so unbelievably simple. I remember looking at those recipes and I
Correct,
was like,
correct.
are they really going to work? Like they're
Work.
looking
Correct.
too
Exactly. Are they really going
simple.
to work?
Because everybody, people do complicate things, like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
So I had
exactly.
always thought of healthy baking as something really difficult. And then I think there were those bajra sticks that you had
Yeah,
put up,
correct. Yeah.
and
Butter crackers.
I
Yeah, I
started
remember
with
now.
a lot of trepidation and doubt, let's say, that I'm just mixing three things, and is it seriously going to turn
Really
into
going to
what
work.
it
I know.
says? And it did, so I think it begins with you. You simplify things, and you want it to be applicable in the other person's life. I think the intention is very important. So
Correct.
because you want us to really, apply it in our lives, to eat it in our homes,
Correct.
as busy people who
Yeah,
have children.
exactly.
Yeah, so it really works, and I think, kudos to you for that.
No, no, thank you so much. I think it also comes from, like I said, from the fact that and I think maybe it resonates with others that I've like basically been self-taught, right? So I learned a lot of it on the go myself. Plus, I'm a working parent, so that makes a big difference. That I don't want to be, I mean, I even if I wasn't a working parent, I mean, I would not want to be spending my entire time in the kitchen, right? So
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
that's the other thing that drove my way of thinking that I mean, the problem again, like I said, with the Indian mindset is that unless you're toiling for hours in the kitchen, you don't love the food, you don't love your family or whatever.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
And
And
that's
it's completely wrong, I think.
really not exactly. It's just not
Yeah.
true. I mean, ideally, that's what we want to discourage. So, I mean, in fact, so many times I keep saying, like the way we must design the recipes also should be such that the oven does the work. You are able to
Yes.
do whatever you can, but let the oven do the work, or whatever. uh, I mean, in my case, the oven, but whatever equipment you have access to and you're using should do the work. So
Yes, yes.
so Demita, you have also done a lot of healthy baking yourself in the last few years. So I wanted to understand, I mean, you've obviously shared that, but also maybe a little more detail about why you decided to look at healthy baking, what triggered that interest, and and then of course you've been a very active part of OMBC throughout, but then generally, maybe was there some trigger, or was it just a general interest in healthy baking and that anything from related to maybe your childhood that you were you probably have a memory that you enjoyed baked goods, or maybe you felt that there was a scope to make it healthy, something like that. So if you can just share that with everybody in terms of your connect with healthy baking and your journey.
Yeah. Actually, there are a bunch of stories. So let me
Yeah, yeah, we
begin
have
by
all the time.
so let me begin by saying, I used to really love cakes. Okay, when I was a kid, I mean, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Uh,
Correct.
yeah, but my mom used to bake once a year. She used to bake on Christmas. It used to be the annual routine. We didn't really have an oven, so we used to bake in the cooker, and we used to like bake. So that used to be like, oh, so exciting! Christmas is coming, and now we'll get to bake a cake, and
Oh,
you
yeah,
can barely
exactly.
wait for it to come out of the oven,
Out of
and
the
dig
town.
into it. So that was my memory of baking.
Right.
And then I had this teacher who was my nursery teacher, who was a really good baker. So I still look at her and I used to be like, oh, one day I want to be like her. She's just churn out these baked goodies. But I think at that time, of course, no one had the concept of really baking
Healthy baking.
healthy. So
Yeah.
everything was made of maida. And, I never questioned it because I never had the concept of anything different. Then when I went to college, I mean, I have to say this, during my MBBS college days, I had a terrible lifestyle. It became even worse when I became an intern. So we used to have these 48 hours, 72 hours duties, and it's just eat on the go. There was no time to
Yeah.
eat. You just,
Correct.
you're going into ICU, coming out of ICU, going into
Yeah.
labor ward,
Absolutely.
coming out of
Correct.
You grab a juice somewhere, you eat a cookie somewhere, you're just going with
On the go. Yeah, absolutely. And
whatever
that
you find. Someone's distributing sweets because they had a baby, you eat one of that, it carries you for 1 hour, then you're like falling off, you drink a cup of coffee. I
absolutely.
really did that for a whole year of my life, through internship. I never focused on what I was eating. I
On
just
your
ate what
health.
was
Yeah,
available.
correct.
And then by the time I got married, I was in really bad state. So every day I used to be sick. I used to have a
Correct.
headache one day, I used to have a stomach ache the other day, I used to have a backache the third day. And then my husband looked at me and he was like, this is all connected to the way you're eating. I
Eating.
never see you drink your water. You
Correct.
don't have a routine that I have to drink this much
Yeah,
water. You
correct.
don't have a routine as to, I have to eat breakfast at this time, lunch at this time. This is what I'm going to eat at breakfast. This is what I'm going to eat at lunch.
Correct.
And I was like, no, I'm very busy. And he was like, nobody's too busy to look after themselves. It
Correct.
is your
Exactly.
own
Yeah,
personal responsibility to look after
exactly.
your body. Until then,
Correct.
it was always inside me that, it's my mom who's responsible for,
Correct.
how I eat or
Correct.
when I sleep. We kind of hand over that responsibility as
Correct.
children to our parents. It was a
Parents.
wrong thing. And he kind of, woke me up to that. And then when I started eating healthy, I saw this transformation in me. I suddenly had so much energy. I never felt sick.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
my aches and pains disappeared.
Disappeared.
And that's how I went into healthy eating. And yet,
Right.
when I started baking, I was still baking with maida
Right.
and sugar because I didn't know honestly
Okay.
any other way of
That's true.
baking. So then we moved to the Northeast. And in the Northeast, you don't really get too many things. So you have to make whatever. So we used to make
Yeah.
our own sauce,
Correct.
ketchup,
Correct.
you name it, and you have to mayo. You can't buy anything. So you have to make
Correct.
everything yourself. So I used to bake, and you entertain a lot because there's nothing else. So everybody keeps hanging out with each other. And just to be very simple for me to, bake a cake in the morning. And then,
Correct.
I used to make like almost a 2 kilo cake in the morning. And by the evening, it would be over because there would be so many people visiting me.
Correct. Exactly. That many people wanting to eat. Correct.
Yeah, so you just give each person and it used to be, like you said, very convenient because you just
Yeah.
put it in the oven. The oven does the work. You're not standing there and frying every time someone
Yeah.
comes home.
Absolutely.
So I used to love that. I
True.
did that for a long time, and then one day it dawned on me that these are people whom I love so much.
Yeah. And then
Why am I feeding them the worst kind of food?
correct. Why are they
And
eating that?
I absolutely and completely stopped baking because I was like, I cannot feed people whom I love food
This kind
that
of
will
food.
not
Absolutely.
nourish their body and which will
Correct.
destroy them. I mean,
Correct.
it was an overnight realization. So I just packed everything away. I said, no, nobody's going to bake in this house. So
I
for
can
close
imagine
to
the I can imagine the plight of all the friends and neighbors.
Yeah, can you imagine? Even today, people call on my birthday and my anniversary because they remember the cake that they ate on that day.
Imagine. See, that's right.
So,
I think
and then, after not baking for almost 2 years, 2.5 years, I think I didn't bake. I went to your house and you were having this ancient grains, cooking with
yeah, the
ancient
gluten free. Yeah,
grains.
correct.
I've forgotten what it was called.
We did an open house.
Open house.
We did a it was an open out.
Open out.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. So I didn't really know you well at that time. I
correct,
mean, I just know you by name.
correct,
I think we were just friends on Facebook. I never kind of
correct.
met you in that
Yeah,
sense. And then I went to your house for that open out, and of course, you had a lovely spread. Everything was delicious, and you made this amaranth brownie. I
brownies.
clearly
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
and you gave me one to carry home for Hia.
Oh,
And
yeah,
when I came home and I gave it to her, and she again is very particular about eating healthy. Right from the time she was born, she's
correct,
very clear that I will not eat unhealthy food. So even if
correct.
we go to a party, she'll say, Auntie, first I'll eat my normal khichdi, which Mama has brought for me, and then I'll taste the popcorn. Okay, so people just say, how have you done this to her? But whatever, she is
Absolutely.
like that. She likes
Correct.
to know
Yes,
what she's eating and she won't eat junk. But she
correct.
ate that and she was like, Mama, if healthy food tastes like this, I can eat 100 of these every day.
So sweet. Yeah, I remember we had a conversation. You told me that that she liked it so much, and it was because it's very difficult to actually bake. I mean, I'm not saying this because I baked it, but it took me a lot of trials to actually try and figure out how to bake in a really good way with amaranth, because amaranth has a very
Yeah.
strong flavor. So it's and especially with brownies, because it's 100% gluten free. So as it is,
Yes.
brownies are crazy and soft, and they just keep crumbling. And to add to that, if it's gluten free, it's another level of complexity. So
Yes.
I was so
Yes.
happy to hear that she liked it, because I think children, like I always say, children are the most honest critics. If it's horrible, they'll tell you
Oh,
it's horrible.
yes. Oh, yes.
They
You
will
can't make her
try
eat
to
it if she doesn't
correct.
like
And
it.
they'll never try to make you feel good, good.
Yeah.
So if it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
where you stand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do that in all my experiments also. That there are a lot of times when the experiments have really just been too experimental, and the kids have
Yeah.
really understood that, okay, fine, we don't want, this is not as delicious as we would have probably thought it should be.
Yes, yes. Thanks to you, you do all the experimenting and then we can just use the final recipes.
I, yeah.
So,
The only flip side, like I said, is of experimenting is that, I mean, if nobody else eats it, I eat it, because I hate to throw it. So I mean, I have to eat it. So it's that's the big con. But then, I
hmm.
mean, you
But
live
we are
you live
lucky.
and you
So
learn.
we are lucky. We get the right recipes. Like I got that amaranth brownie recipe from you. I remember calling you up the very next day
Correct.
and saying, "Can you share that recipe?" And you shared it with me with great generosity. And then
Oh,
I baked that, and I mean, everybody loved it.
yeah.
And then we went on to I went on to follow your blog, and then I joined OMBC, and then I found so many other recipes that are also really simple, and I really
Right.
think this is great credit to the people on the community, that everybody's trying to make things as simple as possible, because it is
Correct.
easy to complicate things. When you
Exactly.
know how to do it, you can
Yeah.
easily
You
make it
can
too
make it
difficult
very
for the
complex.
others
Correct.
to follow. And the thing is, whenever you reach out and you ask questions, many times I've not really asked the question myself, but someone else has asked and it's just got answered.
Correct. Exactly. I
Everybody's so generous.
interaction. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, after I started baking like this, I realized that, one of the biggest challenges in parenting well is feeding children well. And one of the challenges in that is, having stuff ready when children are hungry. So, one of the important things to remember is that, whatever we eat when we are really hungry becomes our comfort food. We begin to love that food. So it's important to have healthy food available when children are hungry. Now, most of us, what is really available is fruits, but children don't like to eat fruits that much because fruits are mainly fiber. So, you eat a little, but you're not full the way you would be full with, something which is high calorie. So, baking is the easiest thing to do in that. And once I discovered that, there is healthy baking, I was like, I used to recommend it to everybody. Why don't you bake something healthy and just keep it? And, your children can eat it. They can just pick it out of the jar themselves or the box themselves and eat it. And that
Correct.
agency that it gives them, that independence, that makes them hungrier. They want to eat. They have that freedom. They love the taste, because independence and freedom are such important ingredients
Absolutely.
in
They're very,
taste.
yeah, very, very integral part, and kids as in, I mean, young individuals, they have such, uh, clear preference of taste also, so we have to be
Yeah.
mindful of that as well.
So yeah, so that way, so then I started, so everybody would say, but we don't know how to bake healthy. So I would be like, why don't you join OMBC? I can't possibly guide you on this, but yeah, you can join the community and you can follow the recipes. I think innumerable people have joined the community because of
Correct.
that. Those who didn't want to bake, I've shared numbers of various bakers with them,
Very true.
depending on which part of the country they're in, uh, so that they can order stuff or ask for stuff or something like that. And that's my baking journey. So I think it's amazing. I've something which I love, I began to hate, and then I began to love again because it became healthy.
True, very true. I think that I think that is the that's, I think, the journey we are trying to make with so many things that we're doing. So for example, like, like you've seen, you've been an integral part of OMBC Discover for the last 3 years. There's the third edition, right? So it's one of the ways in which we are trying to raise awareness about healthy baking. So if you see the range of topics, we try to cover things which nobody else covers, because
Yes.
essentially, like I said, because, and it's unusual, so it's not like a regular baking conference, so you don't get a lot of excitement happening, because a lot of people don't understand so many of these concepts. But I think, but the reason, I feel that we must continue doing it is because until we don't do it consistently, year on year or regularly, awareness is going to continue to remain low. The more we talk about it, the more we are able to get experts like yourself to share insights, to speak about the importance of, like I said, the myth of baking can't be healthy, the myth
Yes.
of,
Yes.
food healthy can't be delicious. So all of these myths start, that, a lot of people also come back and say, what, people who do healthy baking, they're doing it only for because they have allergy issues. But
No,
I mean, like
no.
I said, so there are so many of these misconceptions that keep floating, and then people
Yes.
need to be able to, and we are like, maybe our group is close to say 38, 39,000 people, right? But the impact is so much wider, because that means, to me, that translates into 38, 39,000 families, right?
Yes.
Which are at least understanding something about healthy baking. And then we go to a wider audience with say the OMBC Discover kind of platform, to make it possible for them to adapt to something like healthy baking and make that transition easy. So for that, I want to understand, Dr. Devmita, that where is how has your experience in the last 3 years been of last 2 years, and this is the third year, of course, but last 2 years been of OMBC Discover. And anything that you'd like to share with our audience here about your experience, and not specifically to your session, but a little bit about that what they should look forward to in this year.
Yeah, so I think reliving those memories are the most fun things, especially the first one where we actually all met. So many of us were strangers to each other. I think when we first met at OMBC Discover first edition, and then by the end of the day we were like, not even the end of the day, I think in the first half an hour we were all best friends.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, we were so excited. I mean, at least I can say for myself that I was just bursting with joy when you first announced it. I think this was in 2018 that you first announced it, that it's going to be in
Correct.
2019.
Be there.
And everybody was so excited. I think I was thinking about this and how it's going to happen for the whole year. And I remember I told Hia also that she can come along. Unfortunately, she had exams at that time. She was so disappointed, and she was like, why did Simran do this during exams? And I was like, okay, next time she won't. I'm sure you won't have exams next time and all. And I remember all of us were there at 7 o'clock in the morning for a conference which starts at 9 o'clock. And we went the previous day. If you remember,
Yeah, yeah. To
we had
see the
all
venue.
met up at the venue, and I was there. Jiva was there. I
Smita was
remember
there.
Smita was there.
Yeah. Smita was there. And I think
Sushmita was there.
Sushmita was there. Yeah.
And Noor was there, of course.
Nuru was there. Yeah. Noor was there in
Yeah.
every space.
So all of us came along. We looked at the venue, and we were so excited about the whole thing. And it was miraculous how you pulled it off, Simran. I don't know how much planning you must have done to really kind of
I mean, I think that's that's why
get
you
that
see
going.
the conference happening 1 year in advance.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like,
I just
even if I
feel
have to
either
organize a birthday party, it takes me like a month. Okay. So a conference with so many people would have taken much, much longer. I'm like 100% sure.
yeah, and I just feel, I mean, so sometimes, like I say, I just feel either I'm over organized, or I'm really bad at organizing, that I need that much time.
No, no, no,
So
no, no.
what
It
it
does
is,
take that much time when you do
I
it with heart.
yeah, you just need to, because I mean, if you're seeing, and you're one of the thought leaders, so you're seeing the kind of discussions that are happening,
Yeah.
the connect that we're doing with which I'm trying to do with all of the thought leaders, and of course the discussions we have about the sessions prior to those sessions and how
Yes.
they'll be structured.
Yes,
So there's
yes.
a lot of things that thought that needs to go in, because like I said, the idea is to make sure that that one is that the conference thought leaders are able to share. They know so much already, so for them to be able to know what exactly will be relevant for the audience, because the
Oh,
audience,
yes.
I think that
Oh,
becomes one of the reasons for so much of planning also.
absolutely. And I think it really works very well. Like, if you look at someone like Sangeeta Khanna, she's such a stalwart in what she does. And yet, you condensed, you had a topic for her to speak on, which was so relevant for everybody over there, right? Not all of us are into that level of, culinary expertise. So it has to be something which is, um, let's say, relevant for all of us. Like, I'm not cooking all the time, I cook only for my family, I don't cook professionally. And yet, someone like her speaks on a topic which works so well, and she was so amazing. So I remember we went there, we were all there at 7 in the morning. I think some 50 people were already there by 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, in fact the place had not been opened, they had
Yeah, it wasn't open, we were
got
all
it
standing
open.
outside.
But I was also standing outside because the place had not opened, and then I was calling the staff and I was calling everybody, and then I was trying to figure out कि ये खुला क्यों नहीं है. And then I think the good part was, because everybody such nice people, all of you who came early, we managed to get up the registration desk quickly
Yeah,
up and everything.
yeah. I
I
remember Renuka was there, and Vinod,
know
Vidya.
those days.
Who
There were
wasn't
those
there?
nice
Everyone.
boxes, big boxes of books and the stationery and everything, and getting it ready for the registration part. I mean,
Yeah.
the hall and everything was set up, but I think the main thing was to be able to get
Yes.
the just for the people who were coming in, their badges to be done. So I mean, it was
Yeah.
just phenomenal. I think it's like I say, that I mean, I can do all of the organizing, but I think at the end of the day, you see so much of teamwork, that comes through, and people doing it so happily, voluntarily. They've come to participate in the conference. They should not have to come and do the work, but they're doing it without any,
No, no.
uh,
I,
you
I
know,
think that is what is so special about the OMBC community, that everybody thinks that it's their community. I mean, of course, you're the
correct,
founder, but the
right,
community belongs to
belongs
each
to
person.
everybody.
And I
Exactly.
remember coming back from there, and there was a dinner that I had to attend after that when I came back from that conference. And while we were going to that place, me and my daughter, I was telling her that, it was so amazing that each person thought that it was their conference, it was
Correct.
their community. And that is
Exactly.
such a special thing. It's not easy to create. It is, I think it comes from very deep inside. And, you need the same kind of people. If you have
People.
some people
Correct.
who just want to kind of, grab the limelight and
Correct.
run, or who want to, show how great they are, and
Correct.
everybody's great there. Like,
Correct.
I'm such a
Everybody
big
knows so
fan
much
of,
already.
yeah, I'm such a big fan of people like Roshali, Renuka, and all these people. Everybody, Vidya, Akila, they're all, I think, stars in their own right, but they're
Correct.
all so much part of the community. It's not about
Correct.
them, it's all about OMBC, and that is what is so
Correct.
special. So that was the first edition. I think the second edition was amazing because, you brought in so many new things. So,
Correct.
I'm forgetting the name, but there was this talk on rice, I think,
Yeah.
right? On the varieties of rice,
Yeah.
and
I think this is last year, Vishala on
Vishala. Yes, yes.
Buffalo Bag
And,
Collective.
and I was like, I had never thought of what I eat in that much depth, and
Exactly.
eventually, we think a lot about, I would say, in India we focus a lot on how
Yeah.
to cook, but
Correct.
we never focus on the ingredients that we're cooking
Exactly.
with. And
Absolutely.
that is so important. And I think that was a focus of the second edition.
Correct.
And so, in spite of it being online, I think it was very engaging because it was, although we were not really able to join together and take selfies and
Correct.
jump and
True.
hug each
I think
other.
that was correct.
Yeah,
Last year, last to last year, I remember we had so many, so many people, and I remember the banner of the conference and people taking photos next to it. And I mean, I still have all those photos, and I think that, okay, fine, maybe once this thing sorts, of course, it is going to take its physical form at some point in time when things are a
Yes,
little settled.
yes.
But I think, yeah, I think it's last year. I think it was phenomenal also because of the topics. You're right. A lot of the topics were very centered around ingredients. So I think we did a session with Vidya on millets. Uh,
Yes.
so I think
That was
that
an
was
excellent
very
session
detailed,
as
very
well.
detailed.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think those kind of things. I mean,
They make
it's every year where I'm trying to see if, depending on the feedback that comes in, what people want to see more, what the bakers want to see more, plus
yeah.
the kind of information that they want to look at. And we've done, like, any of the sessions we've done, I think we've just touched the tip of the iceberg, because there is so much of information and so much of content that needs to be looked at in depth, if you look at any of those. So, with that in mind, Dr. Demita, I'd like you to just share with the audience here about a little bit about, I mean, I don't want you to talk about the content of the session, but maybe just tell people the session you're going to be part of, and a little bit about your book and the pre conference workshop.
Okay, so I really like that, you have the session on baking, diabetic friendly baking, because bakes are so special. I think that nobody should really be deprived of baked goods. I used to always feel very sorry for people. I mean, this is when I was a kid. I used to feel very sad for people who did not eat eggs, and because they would come to a party, and their faces would just sink when someone said, there's egg in the cake, and they would be
Eat,
like, oh, then we can't eat it,
eat it.
and
Correct.
it's so sad. I think it's heartbreaking for a child when they go to a party and they have a cake that has egg, and there are people who don't eat egg. So that
Correct.
is one way. Of course, they don't have any health challenge which is preventing them from
Yeah.
eating it. It's a belief
Correct.
that they're not eating it
Correct.
because of, but it becomes even more difficult, I think, to
Yeah.
acclimatize to when you have a health
Health
challenge.
challenge. Correct.
I mean, it's an actual limitation because of which
Yeah.
you will not be able to eat a certain
Able to eat.
thing.
Correct.
So I think, as the world moves forward, we must have stuff. So after, so because I grew up with that experience, when we used to have my daughter's birthday parties, I used to say, we must always have a small eggless cake, so we can at least serve the few people who don't eat egg, right? So or we should have some dessert for them, which is not going to be with the egg, so that they can eat it. So I think it's so important that you're doing this session. And I think, a lot of there's a lot of blame game around diabetes. People think that you went out and got the disease, by eating a lot of sweets, and which is not true, of course. And I think it's important for everybody to realize that, it is something which comes to you. It's an autoimmune condition. You have no idea how it happened, even. I mean, you can't put your finger on that
Correct. You
particular
can't
day.
identify,
Didn't
yeah, the reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that makes it so much more difficult
More
for you
complex.
to kind of, accept in that sense. And then if all of us can, learn a little bit about this, maybe we can form a more inclusive kind of a space. And it's not just, it's life threatening for them to eat what we eat. So, the way we have accepted this about gluten to a large extent, I
Correct.
think the awareness is still missing about
Correct.
diabetes. And I
Correct.
think with so many people, the environment becoming like this, so many people getting
Correct.
diabetes, it's
Correct.
important for us to understand that and to change the way we bake. So if we
Correct.
have changed so many things, I'm sure we can change that. So
Definitely.
it's just about changing your mind, about changing your thought, about being considerate, about being inclusive, about knowing that, every
Yeah.
person is special and we need to include them. So
Correct.
I think that's about the diabetic friendly. I think I'm very, very excited about that session, especially because we have two wonderful panelists whom I'm
Yeah.
speaking with, who have
Correct.
practical experience in actually doing and, uh, handling that condition with
Correct.
their baking, overcoming that challenge, let's say, with their baking.
And I
I think
think the one thing that you and Cheryl have in common is that both of you have got excellent books. So you have books from a nutrition point of view, which you've published. She has books from from diabetic diets that she has published. So I think it's very, very and Richa, of course, brings a wealth of experience as a parent, and she's also experienced that personally from when she with the management of type 1 for her child, as well as learning on the go, from her from not experience also, but also from different courses that she has done. So I think it's extremely important. And I think the addition of this topic obviously is so personal to me, as I mean, I think a lot of people would know that also. So it's extremely personal to me because I'm also learning every day with my child about how to make things, how much of misconception there really is, about
yes.
it, and how such a serious, like you rightly said, I think you've put it really well, that it's a life threatening, something that is so regular for somebody to consume can become life threatening for them. And but at the same time, if we are mindful and if we can become inclusive and we can share options, we can make things easier and more adaptable and as normal as possible for them as well.
Yes, yes. And another thing which I've seen, since I work with a lot of type 1 diabetics in my emergency practice, I've seen that, because they have to always be aware that they may go into hypoglycemia. They need to keep things ready to eat at that
Correct.
time. And
Correct.
invariably, these ready to eat things are unhealthy.
Correct.
So, you give it to
Exactly.
them and you're like, oh, they shouldn't really be eating this. But what's the
Correct.
option right now? You just
Correct.
have to give this, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if
Exactly.
you can really transform that, how amazing would that be?
Correct. Absolutely. And I think that would be path breaking, because I think that's usually, and see, that's what, I think that's the area that I think, nutritionists and experts and doctors like you can actually help parents understand, and adults also who, for example, have a tendency to go into
Yes,
hypoglycemia, to
absolutely.
understand that, where is, what is it that could be a healthy alternative. Because I see that, and I know that, because that's what we get trained. So when I'm leaving, I left from the hospital, one of the first things they told me was just give her 2 spoons of sugar, you know white sugar. I have not given my child white sugar from her birth till the time she turned diabetic. I have to give
Yeah,
her white sugar to manage diabetes when she goes into hypoglycemia. I mean, like I said, so for me it just felt like a very cruel joke, really, because
yeah.
you're it's something that you from a health point of view, you're so I think what you've brought out is very, very pertinent. And I think it's so important for us to get a better understanding of how that would work in the context of diabetic baking as well. And Dr. Devata, you're doing an excellent baking pre conference workshop, and I think if you can just let us know a little bit about that, I think the people who would be registering for it, would love to. I would encourage more and more people actually to definitely register on time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simran, for giving me the opportunity to conduct the pre conference workshop. I'm really, really excited about it because I think one of the easiest ways to combat picky eating, and picky eating is a huge problem where children want to eat only a particular food. They want to eat only food that is extremely tasty and easy to eat in large quantities, which of course then is refined, because when something is super tasty, it's called hyperpalatability. When something is hyperpalatable, it means that it has been refined and processed so much that it's so tasty that you can go on eating it without realizing that you're doing it. And of course, food has this emotional component to it. So we feel that if a child is eating something, let's just give it to them,
Let's just
out
give
of
it.
love.
कुछ तो खा रहे हैं.
We
This
कुछ तो खा
something.
रहे हैं, and अरे
हाँ,
ये
बिल्कुल.
इतना प्यार से, they love it so much, how can you not give it? And I
Exactly.
mean,
I
that's the
know.
way we think about food. So it
Correct.
becomes a very complicated issue, but eventually, it leads to a lot of problems, and we must steer clear of those problems, because of our love today, we must not damage their health for tomorrow. After all, they have to carry these bodies now with life expectancy increasing for many, many, many years. It's not fair to destroy their bodies and give them diseases. So it is important for children to eat healthy, but picky eating is a huge problem where children say, I will eat only this, or they will say, I will eat only this particular brand of food, I will eat only this particular food and nothing else. So
Absolutely.
But what is important to understand is, why is the child saying that,
Yeah, correct.
right?
This
And the
reason, yeah,
book is all about that. So the food
that's
is so
important.
much more than what exactly you're putting on the plate. You may cook
Correct,
and do everything, and the child may still not eat.
correct.
So the book is all about understanding why the child is not eating what you are giving your child. And
Correct.
it's so much more of what is happening in the head rather than what is happening in the stomach.
Stomach.
Even if you're really crazily hungry, you may
Correct,
not eat what is in front of you,
correct.
if
Exactly.
if your
Yeah,
brain is
your
not
brain is not, yeah,
thinking the right way, right?
correct.
So the whole book
Absolutely
is about changing the way we think about children, the way we relate to food and the way we relate to children, such that they begin to like healthy food. And a healthy baking, I think, is the easiest way to get children to eat healthy food. But again, healthy baking, A, is not easy, and B is sometimes you may bake it and children may not eat it. So there are many things that you can do to, around healthy baking in
correct.
order to make children want to eat it. So
Absolutely
my workshop is going to be about that, about talking about, what makes us eat what we eat.
correct. That's an
And
interesting thing. I think that's very important for all of us to get a better insight on. It's very, very important.
yeah, because I mean, there is no point in slogging hours in the kitchen, and then it's very disappointing. You come, you put it on the plate, and it's happened to me several times. You put it on the plate,
Yes,
and
this has not
oh, I
happened to
don't
me.
want to eat this. I don't want
See,
to eat
I don't
this.
think there's any parent on this earth who has not experienced that kind of that kind of stress
Oh,
of having done all that and put it in front and then having to see that, oh my God, and then
yeah, and it really
the
makes you angry,
frustration.
because after all, we're human as well, right? You've slogged
Exactly.
so many hours, and you're like, I
Yeah,
never
and
make it
you're kind
again.
of forced to pump, push, not push really, but maximize the amount of nutrition and do all that stuff, and
Yeah.
and then you end up whatever eating it yourself.
Yeah,
Nobody.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so the whole workshop is going to be about that. It would be wonderful if participants can read the book beforehand. So
Yeah.
I have shared the link to the book. It's called "What to Do If Your Child Is a Picky Eater," and it would give you a background on the work, on what I will be doing at the workshop. And I hope that a lot of people sign up before the 31st of October, so that
Yeah,
I can meet them at my workshop, because
absolutely.
it'll be a fun thing. I mean, to
And
really
such
get
a
together
huge
before the work conference.
such a huge learning opportunity, because I think it is, like I said, this is the most critical and most concerning issue for all parents. At some stage, every parent has gone through this. I mean, there'll be a very rare few who will not have gone through this, but most parents would have, a very large majority would have experienced, children being picky at some stage, whether it's
Yes,
very young,
yes,
whether it's, in their teenage years, at any point in time. So I think it is,
yes,
even if they haven't experienced a child who's picky as yet, they should still go through it, because you don't know, that
yes.
it's something that might actually happen at a later date also. It's
Yes,
important.
yes. So there was this question at a live I was doing a few days ago, that my child used to eat everything, and then one fine day she just turned into a picky
Correct.
eater at the age of 3 or 4.
Correct.
And then so to make children want to eat healthy food is
Correct.
what we need to target,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm going to go into through the workshop. Even when people offer you unhealthy food, you should
Yeah.
want to eat healthy food.
Correct.
So
Exactly.
that's what I'm going to target through the workshop, and it can be done by actions of our own. You can do your parenting in such a way that the child says, no, this is unhealthy, I won't eat it, I
Not
want
going
that
to.
because it's healthy.
Absolutely. I think that's wonderful. And thank you so much, Dr. Devmita, not only for the conversation that we've had today. I really enjoyed it. And
Thank
I
you.
think I've learned a lot about you, about the work you do, about, what we have so much excitement to look forward to in the next couple of months. November is exciting from a pre-conference point of view. December is exciting from the conference point of view. And I'm sure many of us are looking forward to both the sessions, the one in November and the one in December. So for all of you who haven't registered, I think it's a good time to go ahead and register right away, because only if you register by 31st of October can you actually access and be a part of the pre-conference, workshop that Dr. Devmita will be doing about baking for picky eaters. So thank you so much, Dr. Devmita, and it was very nice
Thank
talking to you.
you.
And it's nice of you to take out time on a Saturday afternoon, to chat and share your insights with all the folks on OMBC.
Thank you so much, Simran. It was such a pleasure to be here, and I think I spoke too much, and
For sure.
we've really
For sure.
overshot the
It's
time.
always, not at all. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. So I'll leave you to the rest of your weekend and have a great week ahead. And
Thank you.
we'll
Thank you
speak
so much.
soon,
Same
I'm
to
sure.
you.
And then, of course, we have your lovely workshop coming, on in November.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simran. It was so nice of you to have me, and I'm really looking forward to the workshop and the conference.
Conference.
I hope to see a lot of people
The
at
people.
the workshop.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right.
Right
Take
then.
care.
Bye bye. You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.